Ria Boustead, welcome to Over the Bonnet.
Oh, thank you so much for inviting me. I'm so excited.
We're excited to have you here. You've had a very interesting and varied life. When did it all start? Let's talk about the early days.
Early days. Okay. Probably had a little bit of adventure in my early to late 20s where I lived on a houseboat for a short while, about 2 years. But the adventures kind of stopped after that. We got into a bus and travelled a little bit. But it was when I met Jim, my partner, that we've been together for nearly 26 years, that life started to really change.
Hang on a minute, what about the houseboat? That must have been fun.
Living on the boat was fantastic. I absolutely did love the lifestyle. It had no motor, so we had to move from Redcliffe to Bribie, so we had to be towed up by friends that had a trawler. But there was something that broke at the front. It was the rudder or something, and I was the only one that could actually fit in the hole to fix it so we could continue the steering. It was the actual steering, I think, that was busted. So I had a friend remind me of that last week.
Must have been fun though, living on a boat.
It was. It was. The lifestyle was amazing. Like, if you don't like your neighbours, you just normally pick up anchor and chug off. But it was fun, you know, the lapping of the water, and just, it was the freedom, the lifestyle freedom that you had. And you met some really amazing people living on a boat.
It's like the old joke, you know, about when you have a waterbed, we started drifting apart. How was the lifestyle though? It really must have been pretty relaxing.
It was very relaxing. We had a detailing business at the time, which we moved from Kedron to Redcliffe, so we were able to work as well as the living on the boat. But that ended up sort of going by the wayside, sadly. And just having the freedom just to do whatever. The kids would swim in the marina. You'd be catching, just throw the fishing rod out and you'd be catching fish. So yeah, the lifestyle of it was a very relaxed, calming feeling, and to go to sleep at night and you just had that little rock at night. It was, I loved it. I did enjoy it, and I was on a houseboat last week, which really brought back some good memories of being on the boat.
We'll get back to that in a moment, because how did you get into living on a boat in the first place? Because it really must have been a big step.
It was a big step. From memory, because I'm going back 33 years ago that this all happened, and I think we just had some spare money, but we didn't have enough money to buy a house, and the houseboat was, I think, $5,000. So we ended up, it was an old trawler, and it had actually sunk 3 times prior to us buying it. So we lived on the hard stand for 3 months, and it was actually recorked. So the old timber boats, they're recorked. And so we sat there and we had an elderly gentleman who was a professional at recorking. So he did all the recorking, and then when we put it in the water, everybody, because everyone was yachts and sailboats and all, and we were the dirty old bay cruiser ex-trawler at the time, so they were all sitting there waiting for it to sink again. I think it was about 48 hours of bilge pumping, because the water, everything had to expand. So there was shifts. A couple of friends had stayed with us, and everyone did shifts of doing the bilge pump, because it was all hand bilge pump. So, but yeah, it was great. It was good. And I homeschooled my 2 youngest ones, my 2 eldest ones at the time. So yeah, it was a good life.
Homeschooling, why? And what did you get out of it, and how did the kids go?
Kids went really, really well. It was a good thing, because at least once a week we do go somewhere and do something, whether it was a museum or do something, and that would be their assignments that they would do. And we would spend probably 3 hours a day doing the homeschooling. And by the time they actually went back to school, they were 6 months ahead of all the other kids, which was brilliant at the time, and then they just fell back again. But I used to get all the books, and we would get probably 6 months ahead of all the books. So even if we wanted to, when we finally got off the boat and started travelling in the bus, you could do a full week of schoolwork, but it'd be a month's worth of schoolwork. So we could go and have a good time and enjoy and just see so much of whatever we could possibly see.
What was it like from the kids' point of view?
They loved it. They absolutely loved it. They didn't want to go back to school when they did eventually go back to school, but it was good because they were able to mingle with a lot of other people and see a lot more than the average kid actually sees.
They've been to the school of life.
Yeah, definitely. They had a good life.
Looking back at it now, how are they well adjusted now because of the experience that they had?
Eldest is really well adjusted. Let's just leave it at that. He's really well adjusted. He loved it. He absolutely loved the schooling. Yeah, and loved the lifestyle of what we did. Yeah, and as he was growing up, it was just different lifestyle.
Is it because he was old enough to enjoy it?
Yeah, look, he was very young at the time, but as he grew, he still has those. He still has those memories. I mean, he's nearly 37 now, and he still has those memories of the travel and living on the boat, and all the fun things. So it's really stuck with him, over the years of everything that's happened.
You talk about the yachties at the marina, and they look down on you. What were they like, really?
Not very nice people. They're not nice people. I think there was one couple, their names was John and Mary, and they had a beautiful son called Ben. And Ben was at the time 20 when we met him, and he had his 5-year shot, and he stayed 5. He never ever grew, so he had a reaction to that needle, which was really sad. But he really connected with the kids and myself. So he used to come with us. I would try and give John and Mary a break and just take him shopping and all the rest of it. And look, honestly, at the first marina we were living at, they weren't very nice people.
What do you put that down to?
Snobby.
Hey, look, it is what it is.
It is, yeah.
Why? Because they got some money?
Yeah, that was about it.
Once you got the boat sorted and it was actually proved itself, did their attitude change?
No, we were still the low life because we just had a dirty old bay cruiser. It was the only bay cruiser that was in that marina. It was quite a posh marina at this place. I'm not even going to mention it.
Well, it's an interesting thing that you've had to deal with all of these people. How did you react at the time?
It was hard at first. It was really hard at first. But when we ended up moving and ended up at Spinnaker Sound, which is up at Bribie, and there was only 2 permanent boats that lived there. And we got on really well with the other couple, and all the other people were trawlers and weekenders. So it was really good to get out of a snotty environment to an environment that was full of really nice people, and it was, that was good. I absolutely loved living at Spinnaker. I love living up there. It was
so money can't buy manners.
No, definitely not.
Let's expand on what it was like at Bribie.
Oh, you've taken me back a lot of years. This is like over 30 years ago. It was a lot more relaxed. It was more inviting. If you asked for help, you would get help. And the trawlers used to be behind us. So we never actually had a window in the bed. So every morning I would have stuff getting thrown through my window as a stir, but the fresh prawns, I would have fresh prawns and fish, and I really got sick of eating seafood because it was a daily occurrence that these guys would be bringing me seafood all the time. But it was a really relaxed atmosphere up there. We really enjoyed that time because they weren't snotty, they weren't up themselves, they didn't have the best boat. There was a whole variety of different boats that were up there. But look, it was, that was a better lifestyle.
Those guys on the trawlers, they're good guys. They work really hard.
They do. They really do. And we were friends with a couple of them prior to that anyway, and really got to know, because I think there was about 10 different boats there. So, we really got a connection with the guys because they were just down to earth like we were. And I'm an old hippie from way back, so just I treat you as you treat me. And, it was good fun.
So were you on the marina when you were at Bribie, or how did you get to and from land?
Oh, we were on the marina, because we didn't have a motor. We still never had a motor, never ever got a motor.
Did it ever occur to you to put one in?
Oh, it occurred to me. Didn't occur to the ex.
Why not? Why didn't you put a motor in it?
Because he's an idiot. So I divorced him.
Well, there's small mercies. Anyway, so then you moved on to a bus.
Yep, bought a bus, started travelling in a bus, and actually broke down at Bribie, at Gympie. So that was 31 years ago. We actually broke down in Gympie, and we ended up at the Gold Nugget Caravan Park. So we didn't get very far. And we sold the bus and got a caravan. And then we got to Rockhampton and moved to Keppel Sands. And then I got work at Keppel Island and was working at a pizza place at Keppel Island on the weekend. So that was pretty good.
One big adventure for you at the time.
Yes, that was. And then it continued later on in life.
What was Keppel like back in those days? It was
Beautiful.
sort of the glory days of Great Keppel Island.
Yeah, it was stunning. We actually worked the weekends over at the pizza place, so there was it was not far off where you got off the boat, and we'd just walk up to the pizza place and do that, all run on generator. Everything was generator. It was an ice cream parlour, so I had to turn the generator off late at night and then get it back on early in the morning so the ice cream wasn't melting. But that was good. I absolutely loved working over there. That was just a different experience of getting over there and meeting so many different people. Well,
that's what I was going to ask. What are the sort of people that you actually met on the island?
It was huge, just a variety. A variety of people would come and go. You know, it was. There was no, I don't think I met any celebrities over there as I have later on in life, but it was just that variety of people. But you're taking me back so many years ago. I've got to really remember what actually happened.
You say no celebrities, but anyone that really sort of stands out that you think about them occasionally?
From over there?
Yeah.
No, to be honest, no. Probably the owners, Penny and Murray Spencer. They're probably the only people that really do stick out, because it was only a weekend job. Yeah.
So you're in Rockhampton working on Great Keppel. Why move? It sounded like a pretty nice lifestyle.
It was a good lifestyle, but ended up buying a block of land and building a house at Glenwood. So we had a certain amount of money and we were able to buy, I think the block of land was $5,000, and we were able to build a house for about $25,000.
Some people would cringe when they hear those figures.
Oh, yes. But we didn't last very long. The marriage broke up. And I moved on.
So you're moving on, your life continues to evolve. Describe yourself, because you tend to be, by the sounds of it, a bit of an adventurer.
Yes. Gypsy. I'm a gypsy. I love travelling. Jim and me met, and it's just gone from good to great. And we have worked with the Tent City Hire. We travelled around for 5 years setting up tents for events and festivals, so got to meet so many amazing people and artists as well along the way. And I ended up becoming extra and extra for movies, videos, ads, and I still do that now. We have joined the Moscow Circus. We have done the show circuit, the Northern Territory show circuit. I still work at the show when it comes to town. I do here in Maryborough when it comes in. And, I don't know. I just do so much. I love just living life.
They're a lifestyle all unto themselves, the showies.
Oh, definitely.
Sometimes they get a bad rap. Do they deserve it?
No. Look, there's always the occasional baddie, but that's in everywhere. And you might get a lot of different travellers that are workers like us. We're outsiders coming in. If you're not accepted, you won't stay very long. You certainly won't stay very long. We've been very, very blessed of knowing people that have been part of the show anyway. So by meeting, introducing people, like when we originally started the show circuit in Northern Territory, the person I was working for was good friends with the people I knew here in Gympie that were part of the show circuit for many years ago. And the same as the Moscow Circus, they knew. So everyone knows each other or families. I love it. We were really invited into the family, and I'm still in contact with many of them now as today. So we can always get work with the show anywhere, wherever they are. So that's the good thing about it. Yeah.
Do you enjoy that bohemian lifestyle?
Love it. Absolutely love it. I've got the itchy feet now, and we got a few things happening. We got a coaster bus, and we just jump in, and that's how I get the work. I find work along the way, and we just do it. So I just find outback work. Love the outback. Outback Australia is amazing.
What attracts you to the outback?
I think just the open space, and
it's bloody hot and there's flies.
Oh, hot. We worked at Cameron Corner a couple of years ago through Christmas, and I've got photos of 53-degree heat out there, and the flies were crazy. But I tend to forget that stuff.
It's like childbirth.
Yeah. Yeah, but you tend to forget it. And I keep saying to Jim, when I say I want to go here in the middle of summer, can you please tell me to stop?
And remind me.
Yeah, I do. I forget that because there's so many good memories of it. So, yeah, it's great.
Cameron Corner in the middle of summer. Why did you go there in the first place, and what were you doing?
Something different to start with, and Jim and myself are all-rounders. We class ourselves as all-rounders. So he is a carpenter by trade. He hasn't done his trade for a lot of years, but he does welding, he's done mechanics, he does maintenance of so many things. He's very clever, very good artist. And myself, I do bar hospitality. I've done for nearly 40 years. So I do bar, kitchen, office. I do house cleaning, but don't like it. Getting a bit old for the house cleaning. The old back can't handle that. But I'll put my hand up for pretty well anything. Yeah.
Is that what you need when you do go on the road like that you've got to throw your hand to anything?
Yes. Yeah.
Is it still something that is available for anyone if they want to get on the road?
There is so much work out there. There, honestly, I'm on different sites, different group sites, and there is so much work out there. If you are willing to jump in the car and go, you'll get the work. Always will get the work. And there's accommodation. We've got our own accommodation, but there is accommodation out there for everybody.
What sort of sites? If someone wanted to go and get on the road and they suddenly go, okay, it's time to leave, where do they go? What sort of sites?
There's a heap on Facebook. So the Grey Nomads is one of them. So you've just got to be over a certain age on the Grey Nomads, I think, from memory.
Grey hair helps.
Grey hair helps. Oh, I don't have grey hair. There's no grey hair here. Yeah, there is just so many sites out there. You just got to look. Travel, work, anything. There is many sites out there that you can get on, many companies that you can get on. You don't have to pay for them. There's no paying. And they just come through daily to me. They come through. So, yeah.
What do you say to people that say, I can't get a job?
It's hard. It's hard because I don't know their circumstances. You know, if they're not willing to travel or they haven't got that ability to be able to travel, I feel for them to start with. But if you're willing to be adventurous, if you're willing to do something different, get out there and do it. You know, I mean, get out there and enjoy life, because there's so much out there to enjoy. So many people, when they sit there and say, I'm broke, I can't do this. Some people, and I sit there, they're smoking tailor-mades or they're doing this. I have absolutely, no pity. I love you, but no pity, because if you can't afford to do something, you can't afford to sit there and smoke a tailor-made, because you know how much tailor-mades cost these days? It's ridiculous to what people...
Just about got to mortgage the house to get a packet.
Yeah. So get out there, you know, stop moaning and groaning about life, get out there and live it. I've been there, you know, I've been in that situation, and it's either make a choice or stop complaining. Just stop complaining. Just make a choice. It's our choice to do what we want to do, and I chose to live a life. I chose to get out there and be adventurous and have fun, and I do. Every day I wake up and I feel so blessed with what I've got in my life and the choices that I've now made.
What do your kids think about the fact that Mum is such an adventurer?
They're used to it. They've been part of it. They've been very much part of it. Sadly, two of my children are having their own issues, so I don't really see them. My eldest son just keeps saying to me, live your life, Mum. Live your life, you know, and he loves seeing the adventures. He loves seeing what I'm doing and where I'm going. But they've all been part of the adventure at some stage. Our youngest son, he actually travelled with us a lot when we did the tent city. So we travelled a lot of Australia. We travelled a lot of South Australia, New South Wales. I did a couple of trips over to WA. And we've seen part of Australia that nobody would ever see in some of these events that we've been to. You know, you wouldn't even think to go to half of these places. And I've just got it. I've got the bug, and I'm happy to work. I don't have to work these days because of my online businesses, but we get too bored. You know, we do like to work, but I got to that point where we can travel. If we get bored, okay, let's get a job. And it would take me, I reckon, 48 hours, and I would have work.
If someone says they can't find it, it's there.
It is. It's definitely there. But sometimes you've just got to be willing to move. You've got to be willing to go. People with families, it's a little bit harder. But if you're single or you're a couple, there is work. There is so much work. And even coming in here today, they were talking about the fruit picking. They're losing billions of dollars worth of fruit and veggies, which is such a sad thing in Australia because they can't get the backpackers coming. Well, I mean, I don't want to... I've done that. I've been there. I've done it. And it's sometimes hard work, sometimes it's not. But, you know, get out there and just experience it.
A lot of that's closed down and suffering because of COVID. How's that going to affect the gypsy lifestyle of a lot of people that are travelling around, like you say, the showies, the show circuit, the travellers?
Yeah.
How is it going to affect that, or is it affecting that?
It had. Last year it did. It really did affect the circus, the show, the whole show. the setting up the COVID restriction rules costs a lot of money, and I really felt for them because that's their lifestyle. I know Moscow Circus, all the people, all the overseas entertainers, they had to go home, and everybody else, they were just in one compound. They don't know anything else, really. That has always been their life. With the shows, yeah, that all stopped. But I think this year, I had a conversation yesterday, and hopefully the Gympie show will be on. But I think there's just going to be a lot more restrictions of happening with the travelling side, the gypsy side. I'm happy to go over borders. Jim's not. He would prefer just to hang around Queensland. Queensland's a big place. It's a really big place. And I think a lot of the travellers now, they are sticking close to their state and just getting out there and seeing a lot more of where they actually live that's pretty good. Because we're actually supposed to be in Canada last year. I want to do 12 months in Canada, and that's going to take a couple of more years, I think, before any of that's going to happen. But Australia is a big country. We've seen a lot, but we've still got a lot more to see.
What were you going to do in Canada?
Travel. Travel. I would like to get maybe a little bit of work with the carnivals over there, if we can.
That'd be interesting in another in another country.
Yeah. And because we've got that background, we would be able to slip in easy. But I think legalities, we have to be so careful there. You can't, I think you've got to be, it's either 30 or 35 to work legally over there. And after that, we can get work, but we've got to be sponsored, and they can't be able to get somebody else to do that job. So I don't know, but that's why I built my businesses up, to bring in the capital, and then we don't have to worry about it.
What part of Australia would you still like to see? You've obviously been to plenty of places. What's on the bucket list?
Oh, there's too many. There's honestly too many to mention, because there's so many places around that I haven't been to. So like I say, we've done the circuit. We've done a lot of the middle of Australia. I do love the outback. I love the outback. The flies and the heat I don't love, but the outback. So I would love to go back to Coober Pedy. Absolutely loved that place and spend a lot more time.
What attracted you to there?
It reminded me of home, just that you just don't throw anything out there. You do not throw anything out there. And it was just the openness, the space. It just had character, so much character. The underground homes, the underground motels. We did an underground church. I love all of that craziness. It was just, I just love different.
What are the people like there?
Didn't spend a lot of time there. That's why I'd like to go back. You would have to be very careful, I think. Tread very carefully.
In what way? Why is that?
It's a very close-knit township, and the people that are out there have been there. They've done all the opal minings, they've done all the different minings out there, so they're very, I think, wary of the strangers that come into town. But I think you would be able to
slip in and integrate.
Yeah, I think so.
But they're probably happy to take your money, though, if these outsiders, they're keeping the town alive.
Oh, definitely. And any of those little towns anywhere, the smaller towns, are suffering because the travellers just aren't getting there. So, I think I would just like to go to a lot of small towns and support them in some way. And we always have, no matter where we've gone to. Any small town, we'll make a point of holding out to fill up the bus, or holding out to buy the fruit and veggies, just to put a little bit of money into the town it's a good thing.
Do they realise you're doing that and appreciate it?
Some do. Some of the towns, what they were doing was at the tourist information, if you bought something in that town, you put your receipt in a box, and then they would see just how much money was getting spent in that township. So that I think should be done in every small town, for them to see that the money is getting spent in those towns. Yeah.
I have seen that when I was out at St George and Cunnamulla out that way.
Yeah.
They were really big on putting the receipts and collecting them so they could see how much these travellers meant to the population.
Yeah, it's so important. It is really important, you know. Yeah, we'll try to stay away from the big towns. They get the people. It's the smaller towns that. Yeah, Birdsville is one of them. We actually went out there 2014. We took our HR out there, and
oh, nice.
Oh, it was so good. Oh, so good. Because 2015 we were doing the Endeavour Rally. And 2014, we went on the 4-wheel drive track only, got Walker's Crossing.
In an HR Holden.
HR Holden, yeah. We were the Bogans. And took it out there. We dressed everybody up in jockey outfits for the races. There was 11 of us, so I got all the jockey outfits and we dressed up, and we had an absolute ball out there. But Birdsville has really suffered as well. And it's good to get out there. It's good to be able to spend the money and do the thing. And I think the races are about the only thing that bring out the amount of people.
It really carries that town.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, there's thousands of people out there, absolutely thousands of people.
What's the experience like, the Birdsville races?
Very drunk. There is a lot of drinking. There's not a lot more you can do. I got in a helicopter. We did the helicopter experience up there, and going to the races is just, the people out there, they really get into it. All the travellers that come in, we weren't the only ones dressed up, but we were the only jockeys.
Except for the jockeys themselves.
Yeah. We were getting asked for the best horse to back. Got on 60 Minutes.
What happened there?
They just found us interesting and, interviewed us. So we just had the quick 60 Minutes, got on the 60 Minutes, because I can't remember the reporter that was out there on 60 Minutes, but he was out there and found us interesting, so he got us on there. Yeah.
You talk about the people when you're travelling around with the tent hire business.
Yeah.
Who are some of the standout people that you actually have had the pleasure and displeasure of meeting over the time?
A few artists that are really nice artists. I know for the life of me I cannot even think of his name right now, but he come from New Orleans, a beautiful blues singer. And it was the first time in Australia he got picked up, and he couldn't believe just the sparseness of our country, where he's saying, where's all the buildings? And he was coming to Woodford, his first time at Woodford, and it was just absolutely amazing. He was a beautiful man, and I seriously wish I could remember his name. But just talking to him and his life and the hard life that he had led, but the beautiful music that he was singing. Missy Higgins, got to meet Missy Higgins, and she was she's a very true Aussie girl, beautiful Aussie girl. There's been a lot. It's just been so many. There's been so many people. There's just no one that really stands out as in one particular area. There's been a few that you don't really want to meet again. Got to meet Ross Wilson.
From Mondo Rock and also Daddy Cool.
Yep. Yeah, and he's lovely. He's actually got his own, it's a light and sound company down in Brisbane, because I got my eldest son into a light and sound SAE down at Milton, and I actually met Ross Wilson at the muster, and I was talking to him, and he was saying that he was having these programs for all the new people that wanted to come in and do all the light and sound, and I could have got my son, like it was a week, I think within a week of me paying for the SAE course, and I could have
what's
got...
that?
SAE is a company down at Milton that just specialises in light and sound. So, yeah, and Rod used to do that. He'd done the Black Eye, that's my son, Black Eyed Peas and Kylie Minogue and Pink. So he's had a good little play around as well. He doesn't do it now.
Do you find that, some of these artists want to be the star?
Yes. Yeah, I do. Yeah, some. But look, honestly, not a lot that we had met. A lot of them were very outgoing, want to talk. But, but you didn't have a lot to do with them. It's only because they were staying in our tents and we had to look after them and the tents. And if they wanted a little bit of extra, then you would try and compensate and give them what you could.
Because it must be hard for these artists also. They're on the road.
Yeah.
They've got their own circuit to have to deal with and be on the road.
Yeah.
What did you see as far as artists doing it tough, being away from home all the time?
I think just living in tents. We used to live in the tents 8 months of the year. They did it about 5 days if it was muster or Woodford or something like that. It wasn't. But living on the road, I reckon it'd be so hard for them to be away from their families. Some in Woodford, a couple of them, I do remember bringing their families with them because it would go for 10 days, 7 days. Woodford, it would always start at Christmas or Boxing Day and finish on the 2nd. So you sort of had that length of time that they were there and spend the time with their families as well. But it was good. I remember we've mosh pitted with up close and personal with so many different bands. That was a good life. The tent city was a good life. Yeah.
What would you change about it?
Nothing. No, absolutely nothing. It was a great adventure. It was hard work. It was really hard work. But at the end of it, it was a great adventure. Just got to see so many great places. And the amount of people, there was one in particular job that we did, and it was a Hardy's wine. It was a technician get-together, and they used to do it once a year. And the guy that was the CEO at the time, he was an old sheep farmer. So he was the country boy. So normally they would meet up at the 5-star places and they'd get picked up, driven to the places wherever they were staying, picked up from the airport, driven. This one was at a place called Arkaba, and it was between Wilpena Pound and Arkaroola. You would never know where it is. They bulldozed a road into this property, and we brought in what they call hockers. Do you know what a hocker is?
Got no idea.
It's a marquee with steel frame. So there was hockers and there was the bar and the restaurant, and they ended up bringing in all the high quality chefs, the pastry chef and all the chefs, and brought them in every day, fresh food. And these people have flown in. And the amount of them doing this, trying to get service, no service, nothing. There was absolutely nothing there. And none of them had camped, ever.
What sort of people are we dealing with?
These are the winemakers. These are the people that create, so New Zealand and Australia getting together. And they left after 4 days and thanking us for an experience that they have never done in their life. Absolutely loved it. And that was one of the good things about working tents, is you would have people coming in that has never camped. So they've had a long trip, they've had a really crappy trip, and the first thing they see is you. So you want to try and make them as happy as you possibly can, and to have them leave and thank you, it was brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
What's the secret to entertaining people to look after them like that?
You got to find out their needs, I think. Knowing what their needs are and trying to help support those needs is a good start. And if they do come in really bad mood, then it's your job to try and get a smile on their face. So it's working individual people, it's working with them and finding out, yeah, okay, how was your day? Crappy. Righto. Let's try and get a smile happening. You're here for a good time. Let's make a good start now.
Do not enough people get out on the road?
I think so many people are out there really trying to make a living that they're not out there living a life. So they're missing out on so much else that's out there.
Is it a case of living to work rather than working to live?
Yeah. I mean, I prefer just to live and enjoy. But yeah, they're just too busy. They're too busy with life, paying bills, putting themselves in, I think, in situations that, yeah, they can't get out of. They've got to get out and they've got to work to pay for their lifestyle, you know. And I think a simple lifestyle, people forget the simple lifestyle. The simple lifestyle is so much cheaper. It's so much happier. You get out there and live it. You don't need a $500,000 house. You know, you don't need that.
Why do we?
I don't know. I don't. Give me a bus. I'll live in a bus. I don't know. I think it's just how society has made it. Really, you know, it's making people feel that they've got to be like the Joneses. They've got to have that extra in their home or their extra in the car. Things like that don't bother me. I'm a very simplistic person.
Is that what you do offer to these people when they do go away and thank you? You've reminded them what a simple lifestyle is all about.
Yeah, and I think with the tent side of things, yeah, definitely, they can see that you don't need this big flashy anything. Having that lifestyle and to be able to just come and go as you please and not have that heaviness, that weight on your shoulders. You've just sort of given them that little bit of freedom to see what's going on and what life can be really like. It's, you know, get out there and enjoy.
Doing that, is that true freedom?
That's true freedom. Yeah.
Did you start out hoping to get that?
I didn't really start out. I absolutely had no goals. I had no what's going to happen, where am I going to be in 5 years. I've never been like that. Now I am a little bit like that. I want adventure. Okay, what do I want to do next? Where do I want to go? This is where I want to be in 5 years' time. This is what I want to be doing. It's something that you've really got to, I think, have a think and have some sort of dream. Everyone's got to have a dream. Everyone's got to have some sort of goal. Doesn't have to be a big one, but you've got to have something.
What do you still want to do?
Hot air ballooning. Continue building my businesses, which is going to give us that entire financial freedom, and that's what I'm aiming for. I never want Jim to go back to New Guinea again. 7 months he was stuck over there last year, so I don't want him to have to do that.
What happened there?
COVID. Yeah, it was up to them. They had a choice of either staying over there or coming home. If they come home, the whole job stopped. So we discussed it, and there was only 2 expats, 2 of them over there. So yeah, they just stayed there. It went a bit longer than what was expected, the job, but it was good. It was okay, and I just got on with doing what I had to do. It was harder for him because they were outside a bubble. They were at a bush camp and not a good place to be.
But he should be used to it though if he's lived that bohemian lifestyle.
Well, he's been over there for 30 years, off and on for 30 years.
Doing what? And let's talk about what Jim does.
Well, he was in the oil and gas, so he went from doing seismic to camp construction, PIC person in charge of the camp. So he's done a variety of work over there as well, but always in that oil and gas business, yeah.
Is it dangerous, as they say, over in New Guinea?
Very much so.
What have you heard about what he's been up to? Have you been over there yourself?
I did. I went over Moresby. I stayed at Port Moresby for about a week. He was in a completely different job for a little while, for about 5 months, and he was away most of that time, and it didn't look like he was going to come home, and so I ended up going over there. Port Moresby, not a good place to be. It was very security guards, and I had a driver, or Jim had a driver, so he was my driver. His name was My Hero. He was pretty cool. The bush side of things, the place he was at this time was, not a good place. Lots of shootings and lots of things happening around the place.
Wow, that's pretty dangerous.
Yeah.
Are they armed themselves?
No. They had security there, but that security, they're nationals as well, so, it's...
What's the perception of outsiders as expats coming into New Guinea? What do they think of, say, Jim that's gone over there, and yourself?
As us?
Yeah, living in New Guinea and travelling and working over there.
It's the money is the reason why so many go over there. It's not happening at the moment. It's pretty well shut down. For Jim, and that's really the only reason he was going over there was the money, and that's, I think, for a lot of people, it's not because they love the place, but it's just that, the money side, the finances, just to get yourself on track. Some deal with it, some don't. I know Jim has told me over the years there's been a couple of people that have come and joined. You would think that they would be able to fit in, but they can't, because it's just, it's so different. It's a completely different lifestyle. It's a whole, you've really got to be able to blend in. You've got to be able to deal with the nationals, understand their lifestyle. You can't change their lifestyle. That's just how they are. So, I think it takes a pretty special person to work over in New Guinea.
Well, that was what I was curious about, is what do the nationals, how do they treat the Australians, and what do they think of the outsiders?
It depends. If as us going over there trying to tell them what to do, it's just not going to work. And I can only go on what Jim tells me. So what he's always done is he's worked side by side with them. This is, if I can do it, you can do it. But if you're going to sit there and say, do this, do that, you're not going to get that respect. You've got to earn that respect.
You've got to get in the trenches.
And vice versa. You've both. It's a respect thing, and just know how to deal with the situation when it comes. And Jim's very lucky he's got that. He's got that ability to do it,
Because I've got a friend that used to work over there, and he got held up several times at gunpoint. They'd just stop at the traffic lights and put a gun to the car. Has anything like that happened to Jim?
Quite a few years ago, there was an issue, because he's always worked in the bush. It was only that short time that he actually worked in Moresby. He's always been in the Western Province, but he has had a couple of experiences. One in particular was near a cliff.
What happened?
He was held at gunpoint, him and one of his other workers. He never actually told me. A friend told me and expanded the story a little bit. And I just said to Jim, baby, you got to tell me. You got to tell me, because I don't want to hear it third hand. I need to hear it. So, he told me. And he was able to get around and settling down a little bit, but he has that ability. Jim he's really good in that respect. He's got that ability to just calm the situation down. But yeah, when they get on the buoy, that beetle nut, yeah, they can get a little bit crazy. It's not real good. There's no alcohol. There's no alcohol in the camps because it's not a good thing. Yeah, but I'm glad he's out of it. I am glad he's out of it. I was never at home worrying, but I knew that the situation over there was never smooth sailing either. So I'm glad that he's not going back.
Gun pointed to Cliff. What does he think, and what is his recollection, and how does he reminisce about?
Doesn't. Said it, done, finished, gone. Yeah, move on.
But that sounds like the way you are with most of your life. It's just new adventure next day.
Yeah. Enjoy it. Let's get on to the next one. Let's do it. And just have really good memories and forget the flies and the heat and all that. But yeah.
How is it for a relationship, though, this working away? A lot of FIFOs these days, and obviously he was more than a FIFO. How is it on a relationship to have a partner away like that?
Jim was doing that when we met. So it was nothing different for us. That was just how our life was. Couples that if it just starts happening, I think it would be really, really hard. You got to be a special partner to understand that. I think ones with families would be so hard because my kids are not Jim's kids. So the family side of things, because it was 11 years before we even moved in together. It was a bit slack on that one. But anyway.
Why is that?
I don't know, because he just didn't want to. I don't know. It just worked out that way. I had 3 kids, wanted to bring the kids up. Yeah, so. But, I think I really feel for families because it's so hard. The mum is at home and the mum's doing the mum and dad. I was a single parent, so I know what the mum and dad, being the mum and dad is, and having dad that is there but is only there part-time. I really feel for the parents, but sometimes that's the only way they're going to get ahead. And if they do have that understanding, they keep that communication going, it will work. If they don't keep that communication going, I think there'll be cracks.
From what you've heard about what's going on over there and what used to go on, how many relationships did you hear of breaking down?
A few nasty ladies emptying bank accounts. Jim told me there was a few times that had happened. Guys would come home and their house is empty, the account's empty. It happens. There's some nasty women out there. There is some nasty women out there. There might be nasty guys, but there's a lot of nasty ladies out there too.
I think that's from both sides of the coin.
Yeah.
Like if it's going to happen, it's going to happen.
Yeah.
Let's talk about your businesses.
Yes.
You talk. Where did it start and what are you doing?
My natural health business, that's my hippie health business. It's such a passion of mine in the natural therapy side of things. I'm certainly not medically trained, but I had an issue with my knee. So it's dislocated, and going back to the HR and Endeavour 6 weeks prior to the Endeavour, I dislocated my knee and it was bad. It was really bad. So I missed out on going. Raised $38,000, I may add. But I was in a lot of pain. So I had a friend connect me to CBD oil, and I have never looked back. I seriously have never looked back. I had been in so much pain daily, nightly, popping pills. I actually tore the lining off my esophagus because I was popping the pills so much. Really? I created a lot of problems inside. Ended up with diverticulitis because I don't think anything was digesting properly. So naturopath got that sorted, and I have been pain-free coming up 6 years.
How did you discover the CBD oil in the first place?
A friend introduced me to it, and I was getting it, and I still have a US link. But a couple of years back, I discovered an Aussie link, and I promote and I promote and I promote, and I have a closed group, and I have so many people that connect with me. Now I'm getting known. People are ringing me from friends, you know, and it's just finding what works for you. That is just a huge passion. Is just something that I will always do. I will never stop doing it because it is helping so many people. The medicinal, certainly not poo-pooing medicinal, but it's so expensive. And when people are sick, they can't work, so I don't see how they can afford it. And I'm so glad I'm there that I can help. It's a lot cheaper. And
what's the difference between the CBD and the medicinal marijuana?
They get it in smaller doses to start with, and I've actually seen a bottle that's got safflower oil as the carrier oil, where ours has the full spectrum. It's got the hemp seed oil. You can have hemp seed or MCT, which is a fractionated coconut oil, so it's a choice. I always tell people grab the hemp seed with the carrier oil, because they're just getting the full plant. I swear by it. I seriously swear by it. I broke my elbow about 3 months ago, and I had to have endone for 2 days. I couldn't deal with it. I just double dosed myself with CBD, and that was it.
There is always the thought that, you know, like it's 10 p.m. and you want a pizza and a few beers because you're taking this CBD oil. What's the effect?
You're not going to get a high. You're not going to get the munchies.
Got to ask.
No, that's all taken out. So when it's all gone through its process, all the high, all of that is all taken out. So you're not going to get the high, you're not going to get the munchies. And I do have a lot of people ask that, and I just say no. You're not smoking a joint. A joint is completely different than having a few drops under your tongue.
What about people that want to medicate themselves for the pain? Because chronic pain is something that, as you say, you've had to deal with, that will smoke a joint or have a bong or whatever they want to do. What do you say to those people that are using marijuana that way?
I don't say anything to them because that's their choice. That is their choice. I think the oil is better for your lungs. But, you know, that's a person's choice. That's not for me to say anything to. If they want it, and I will never force it on anybody. If they come to me, I'll tell them my story. I can share stories they can get on my group page. It's a closed group page. They can read testimonials that I put up on there. I try to share a lot of information there for people, and I leave it up to them. It's entirely up to the person if they want to try, but I'll help guide them through and help find their sweet spot, as you say. And yeah, we'll just... hopefully it will help. I just want to see people out of pain. I want to see people off the pharmaceuticals, because it covers it up. It creates so many more other problems. I got one particular guy that's been on Lyrica for 20 years. He's off it. He's completely off Lyrica.
What has been the reaction? Of course, Lyrica for nerve complaint. Now, what's the CBD oil done to displace the need for Lyrica?
He's just pain-free. 20 years. 20 years he has been in so much pain. And when I spoke to him about a month or so ago, I said, "How are you going?" And he said, I don't know if I could say this. He said, "Even my nuts aren't aching anymore." I went, okay. I don't know if I was supposed to. I'm hearing this, but
hello,
yeah. But yeah, he's been in pain for 20 years. He has taken himself. He took himself off that, and I would never recommend that to anybody ever. I always say, talk to your doctor. Make sure your doctor knows that you're taking CBD. At least they can monitor everything that's happening. I mean, even if we're having a multivitamin, we've got to tell them that we're on a multivitamin if we were on any other medication, you know. So they need to be able to monitor what's going on. And I will always say to them, I'm not medically trained, so please, I don't know, you know, they'll tell me all their health problems. I can't I don't know what they're talking about half the time. All I can do is share experiences, share the testimonials, let them do the Google work, you know, have a look for themselves, find out what it's all about. But yeah. So yeah, that goes really well. That's my passion business. My other business is I'm starting to learn to trade Forex, foreign currency. So I'm learning I'm robbing the banks legally, learning to rob the banks legally. And it's something I think should be at the schools. It should be something that's taught in the schools. Kids need to be taught how to trade currency. And it's an interesting thing. I've been part of the affiliate program because there's been a lot going on in the last 6 or 7 months that I've been part of it. But it's interesting. I've got a few of the girls on my team that are now live. They're making money, you know, they are making money. Of course, you're going to lose money. That's inevitable to do that. But you've got to learn to monitor it. You've got to learn to understand it. And the company that I'm in, they teach you everything. And they sort of say, the least amount you learn, the better. Don't fill your head up. Just learn the basics and then go from there.
That's an interesting thing, because you'd think that it'd be the opposite, that you need to know more so you don't make the mistake.
No, and this company shows you, they teach you, they've got, I love it. It's a fantastic, and they just keep offering. Yesterday, and I can't say it publicly, but yesterday they offered something that is absolutely brilliant in our team only. I've got to tell you when we're not live. I've got to tell you when we're not live, but it is just something that is going to be huge for our team. I'm so looking forward to it when it's put in place. But the company itself, they offer there is so much that they are offering.
Which is the company?
It's called Epic Trading, and the amount of money we pay a month is this much compared to this much of what many people pay to learn to trade.
What sort of money are we talking about, and what can be made out of this sort of thing? Because someone's probably listening to this and going, oh.
Because it's got an affiliate program attached, it's completely up to the person on whether they just want to learn to trade, they want to just do the affiliate, or do both.
What's the affiliate?
The affiliate is like the MLM side of things.
Multi-level marketing. So is that pyramid selling?
Pyramids are legal. Pyramids are illegal. You've got to have a product.
Which is why I was asking about it, because it's...
and so many people, and I still get it now, so many people, it's pyramid. Well, no, it's not, but you get on with your life and I'll get on with mine, because you look at a pyramid, okay, you've got a CEO, you've got a manager, you've got assistant managers, you've got workers, you've got cleaners, you know, everything's a pyramid. Your food process is a pyramid. But MLM, you've got to have a product. If you don't have a product to sell, then yeah, it's a pyramid. But we've got a product, and that's learning to trade. It's a university online. So it's $135 US a month. I know people that are paying $2,000 plus to do this.
With other companies. Yeah.
These guys, they've already done the hard work. They've already done the work of spending 2, 3, 4 years learning how to do the trades. They're showing us what they've learnt.
What have you learnt so far?
Well, I've only just started. I started doing it, but things happened and I just had to pull myself away. So it's only been in the last couple of days. Since I come back from my houseboat last week, got my head calm. I just said I really seriously need to get into this, because I'm seeing so many of our team members doing so well, and I know how good it is. That's why I've stuck with it. I actually earn $600 US a month at the moment through the affiliate. So that pays for my fees. If I can build that up, if I can start in the demo, I'm doing demo now, just playing with the trade. So they'll give us a live trade,
Describe what you're actually doing, the demo and the live trade. Okay. What actually happens?
Okay,
so I'm uninitiated.
Okay, all right. So you can set up what they call MetaTrader 4 and Trading View, and they work on that. And MetaTrader 4 is a demo account. So a demo account is a practice. So you're just practicing. So every day they send a couple of live trades. So you might have the US and the Australian dollar, say, and they'll tell you what to put in on that live trade. So that's all you have to do. You don't even, if you don't want to learn, you don't have to. You just do what they copy and paste pretty well. And you can watch the trades. You can watch it go up, down. They're teaching us foreign currency, crypto, metals, even shares if you want, beginners to advanced. When you start feeling confident in knowing how to read the charts, then you get a broker. You're not giving them money to do it for you. You get a broker, and you can start with as little as $100, and you just play and don't get greedy. Greed is a big thing with trades, and the people that I have spoken to.
What about the saying, greed is good?
Greed is bad with trades.
Why is that?
Because you can lose a lot of money. You get greedy, you're going to lose money. If you can do little bits, you know, like 20, $30, $10 a day, that's can make a big difference in a person's life. So yeah, you just do little bits at a time. If I started, when I actually started with the company, I would be live now. I think it's going to take me maybe 3 or 4 months, and then I'll go live. I'll put $100. I'll find a broker, give them the $100, and then I'll follow their trades. Or if I can read charts, I'll do that. I'd love to be able to read the charts. I think it would be the candlesticks, learn the candlesticks and your pips and dips and your leverages. I think it's exciting, and I think it's good, as I say, something for the kids.
More these days with COVID, do you think more people will get into this sort of way of making money?
It's a lifetime skill. You learn that skill. Foreign currency is always going to be here. Nothing's going to change. You will always do it. And now the crypto is a huge thing as well. What
do you think about that? Because I was looking the other day, one crypto coin is worth something like $64,000.
I know.
It's ridiculous. They started at next to nothing.
I think it was about 4 years ago. I was so interested in getting into Bitcoin, but we couldn't get our heads around it. And I kick myself now that I didn't just put it in there and learn as you go. And that's the best way, I think, to go. Just take the opportunity and learn as you go. If the opportunity's there. With the Bitcoin, it hit $52,000, I think, yesterday. I've got a little bit.
52, is it? I thought it was about 64.
Wow, I've got a little bit. I've got a wallet, and I put a little bit in that wallet, and I just watch it. I'm not doing anything with it. I'm just watching it grow. So I'll leave that for now. But I think crypto's gonna take over. Eventually it will take over, and they reckon it's gonna hit up to 100,000 by the end of the year.
Wow.
I've heard that from a number of different people, and yeah, they're saying that it could hit 100,000. So I think if anybody, just if you've got a couple of $100, throw in and find a wallet, find something, and put a couple of $100 in just to see, to do it. But I think it's interesting, and they teach you, so I can learn how to trade with crypto.
Is that one of the things that you're passionate about these days, is getting other people to do what you're doing?
I'm passionate about trying to help people get out of a slump, help people learn a new skill, because I think it is a great skill to learn. And as you say, whatever happens, if COVID hit, so many people lost their jobs. If only you had that skill, it wouldn't matter, because you can still earn money. My big thing for 2021 was to help as many people as I possibly can with their health and financially.
How are you going so far?
I'm going really good, actually. I'm going really, really good.
What's your standout?
Health. the health, my passion, because it's trying to, I don't want to have to convince people that joining my trading company, I shouldn't have to convince people. I want people to be able to see the benefit. And if you can't see the benefit, then I haven't got enough time or energy to try and convince people. With my health side, so many people are it's so important to get healthy and feel better. I mean, I have lost so many friends with cancer. I have many friends with cancer, many friends that have had cancer and got through it, many friends that have had a lot of health issues. I'm helping some of them, and they're sharing that with other friends, so I'm helping them. So yeah, the health side, yes, definitely.
How does that make you feel?
Really, my heart just sings. It really sings, because it is just, as I say, what I am setting out to do, the passion that I have to help. And when I get a testimonial from somebody to say, Ria, I'm taking this and my migraines have stopped, or I'm menopausal and that's all stopped, or my anxiety, I can go out in public. That's like, I did that. I shared what I love. I did that. I've helped this person get through what they've been going through. And it's a great feeling to do that.
What have you still got to achieve? To
still become a better person in myself. It's taken a while to get to where I am. Growing. I'm still growing and I'm still learning.
Aren't we all?
Yeah, I think so. We learn every day. And if you're not learning every day, something's not going right. Look, I've achieved so much, and I'll continue just putting myself out there and grabbing every opportunity I can possibly grab. Because I think that's what our life needs, is just to be open for opportunities.
What opportunity would you like, though? Is there something that you would really like to just drop everything and have a crack at?
No, I think where I am, I'm happy. And I'm happy just to grow with what I've got now. I can't put any more in my head, but I'm really happy to grow what I've got and hope that I can share my opportunity with others and help them grow. But all I want to do is just have that financial freedom, jump in the bus and run away. That's all I want to do. I just want to have complete freedom, financial freedom, and work only when we want to work, when we get bored.
Well, hopefully you are starting to inspire other people to do the same thing and have their own journey and life adventure, which I think we all need to do. So, Ria Boustead, thanks for joining us over the bonnet.
Thanks, Mark. Thanks for having me.